Here's our Romeo and Juliet Act 3 discussion.
Okay, so in Act 3, it starts Mercutio and Benvolio get into a conflict with Tybalt. So how does Romeo react when he comes upon them and why? So Romeo's words are pretty interesting. He kind of says, I do protest, I never injured thee, but love thee better than thou canst devise. So he's kind of saying, I actually love thee, I don't despise thee, right? So, till thou shalt know the reason of my love, and so, good Capulet, which name I tender as dear as mine own, be satisfied. So he's saying, I love you. In the movie, they kind of never portray Romeo to be a fighter. So he kind of is saying, in a way, we're family. Why would I want to hurt you?
Right, but he can't let him know really that he's married Juliet. But this is after the wedding, and he's trying to smooth things over with Tybalt, who's all upset that they went to the party. Romeo was at the party last night and things, but he can't say, come on, we're cousins now, let's be nice. But yeah, he's trying to smooth things over so he doesn't cause problems there.
But it doesn't. It doesn't smooth over
No,
at all.
It does not.
So, how it ends in death. So how do Mercutio and Tybalt die? Well, it's just a never-ending process. So Tybalt kills Mercutio.
Yeah, so Mercutio got upset that Romeo was being all womanish, he called it, and trying to smooth things over and be all loving and kind. And so he says, okay, Tybalt, have at thee, and I'll fight you. And so he starts fighting.
The two hotheads.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Romeo just tries to break it up. He tries to go in and say, oh, come on, calm down.
Yeah.
And because he was in the way, Tybalt's sword goes and stabs Mercutio.
Yep. And then Romeo kills Tybalt.
Out of revenge.
Out of revenge.
Yeah.
Because he killed Mercutio. Yep.
Yeah.
One thing that I like to point out at this point in the play, if we were here at school, is that this whole thing happened because Romeo went to a party. And Tybalt didn't like it. Even though Lord Capulet didn't mind that Romeo was there.
It's true.
But that was enough of an insult that several people were killed in the street.
Right. Well, and really, that was a carryover from that first little brawl at the beginning when the servants were just saying, well, my master's cooler than your master. And yeah, it's hotheads.
Be careful what parties you go to.
That's right.
Just stay at home. Stay safe. Stay home.
So question 3 says, what punishment did the prince give Romeo for fighting? And so after this conversation of the prince finding out who killed who, right? We have the prince that says, and for that offense, talking to Romeo, immediately do we exile him hence. So they exile him so he can no longer be in town. They sent him to Mantua.
Well, and earlier the prince had said if there's ever a fight like this again,
Right.
you're going to die for it. But the reason he didn't sentence Romeo to death is because Romeo was just basically doing what the law would have done, killing Tybalt for killing Mercutio. And it's interesting, too, that the Mercutio was a relative of the prince. And so I think that might have made him side a little bit that way, where Tybalt was the one who killed his relative, so he was a little bit nicer on Romeo. Of course, Romeo doesn't see it as nicer because he thinks being exiled away from Juliet is worse than death.
And maybe some of you feel like being exiled to your houses is worse than death right now, too. I mean, we don't know.
Yep. Okay, question 4. Lady Capulet goes to tell Juliet about the plans for the marriage between Juliet and Paris, and what is Juliet's reaction? So you watched the movie clip, but basically the parents decide, since Juliet was all cheerful now, or maybe because she was sad, she was really sad about Romeo being exiled, but they thought she was sad about Tybalt dying and thought that maybe getting married would cheer her up. So they went to tell her all the good news that they've arranged for her to marry Paris, and she says that she will not marry now, but when she does, she'll marry Romeo, which it was kind of to throw her mom off, because she's not really saying she'd marry Romeo. She's basically saying, I wouldn't marry Paris if he was the last man on earth.
Which leads into our next question. So Lord Capulet hears that Juliet doesn't want to get married, and he gets pretty heated. So he says, "Soft, take me with you, wife. How will she none? Doth she not give us thanks? Is she not proud? Doth she not count her blessed? Unworthy as she is, that we have wrought so worthy a gentleman to be her bride?" Or in other words, what do you mean she doesn't want to get married? We're giving her everything, and she's just turning her nose up at it? And this is where he starts to get really angry. Chopped logic, what is this? Proud, and I thank you not, and yet not proud? Mistress, minion, you, thank me no thankings, nor proud me no prouds, but fettle your joints against Thursday next to go with Paris to St. Peter's Church, where I will drag thee on a hurdle thither. Out, you green sickness carrion, out, you baggage, you tallow face. Hang thee, you baggage, disobedient wretch. I tell thee what, get thee to church o Thursday, or never after look me in the face. Speak not, reply not, do not answer me. My fingers itch. Wife, we scarce thought us blessed that God hath lent us but this only child, but now I see this one is one too much, that we have a curse in having her. Out on her, Hilding. So that was a long chunk, but basically he just said, I can't believe that you're doing this. You're either going to get to the church or I'm going to drag you there. And if you refuse to get married, then I'm never going to have anything to do with you ever again.
Yeah, I'll kick you out.
Yeah, kick you out of the house.
I love the green sickness carrion. It's like he's calling her this anemic lump of rotting flesh. He comes up with some pretty good insults there.
Just funny because isn't she his only
Yep.
Yeah.
Only,
Well, and he actually,
daughter?
he talks about this at the end, where he talks about how they thought that they'd been cursed by only having one child, and now they realize they're cursed that they had any children at all because she's caused so many problems.
She went from amazing to not.
Yep. So question 6, the essay question, just says, in the first scene of this act, multiple characters die. In your opinion, who is really to blame for these deaths? Were any of them justified? Write a full paragraph explaining your reasoning that has a topic sentence and evidence from the play to support your ideas. We're not going to lead you through that question. We want you to use the evidence you come up with from the movie and or this discussion.
Okay. Full paragraph.
Do it.